Hi, in this episode I'm going to start working on the wing, making sure all of its components are tied down and put together. I'm going to start with the motor mount. This is a wood piece. It's going to come on here. And then I have the lock bit for the motor here. And of course, because everything is always simple, I can't actually use screws to hold this into place because the screw holes are too wide out. So if you see the holes here are on the edge, and there's no real way I can fit this on and get the motor, get the screws in place. So I'm going to get stuck with gluing this onto the back of the styrofoam using foam safe CA. And then I will glue this onto the back of the wood using regular CA. While that dries, I'm going to continue to do some manipulations here of the wings. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to free up the ailerons so that I can push them with the control rods. I'm going to start doing that using a knife. I'm going to free up the rudder here. Finally, the elevators, I keep on calling them elevons. Elevons are when you combine the ailerons and the elevator into a single control surface. But this is an elevator and I have separate ailerons. And this guy is a full service, so there doesn't seem to be anything to cut. So maybe if I just bend it and hopefully not break it. I mean, I think you can see if I'm just pulling and pushing from the control horn, that centerpiece is definitely right in here, is torsioning more than the edges. Just there's a little hole here for a support, it looks like. And I didn't get anything to put in there. I didn't get anything to put in there. So maybe I will look to see if I can get a thin metal bar or something that I can get and put in there. So I have the wooden dowel, I have the wooden support for the motor mount glued into place here. It's been about 20 minutes. I'll probably let it dry before a lot longer before I actually put the motor on. The motor is going to come in here. Remember, the axle is going to come in and it's going to have to poke into the back of the wing here. So I'm going to have to put a hole in here. I might try, or I could have tried just putting a hole in here, but that'll cause friction. So what I'm going to use is the foam melting method that I use for putting holes in the fuselage. And I'm just going to use that again here to put a hole into the back of the wing. Deeper than necessary, so as I'm pushing this in, I'm stopping on the wood before I'm getting to the back of the hole. So that's plenty of room. So the next step is to attach the attachment point. I'm going to put that here. And like I said, I'm going to use glue since I can't get a way. I can't find a way of. The holes are too wide. They won't actually fit on the surface. So for that, I'm going to use some CA. So the next bit is going to be making sure that the propeller can mount onto the motor. Okay. The propeller has a hole in it. It's supposed to sit flush inside this mount. Right now it doesn't. So if I were to put the batteries on, it would wobble a little bit. And I want to avoid that situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to widen this hole just a little bit so that it fits in. And the way I usually do this is I'll use a drill, and I will go with a size that's just about the same size of the hole now. And just incrementally increase the drill bit size until I get the hole that I need. There we go. With that modification, this now sits on there, and then when I'll use rubber bands to hold it into place. You have the ailerons cut out. Now we're going to need to make sure that the servos are pointing in the right direction. I want to have them mounted this way with the wires coming out the bottom on both sides. That'll make mounting easier. I think it'll make it look better. But that means that I have to get these guys pointed correctly, neutral, set in the neutral position and whatnot. So I've been thinking about ailerons a little bit incorrectly all this time. I had thought that I'd be able to just change the rotation of the servo in order to get the push and the pull direction that I wanted. Turns out that's not the case, right? So if I have a this side pointing up and I try to go right, that's a pull. Now what happens when I rotate? Right? I can't do this, it's going to be in the wing. I'm going to have to invert this horn, and that means it's still a pull. And so I can't use this rotation in order to change the direction of the push and pull on the ailerons. I would have to do this. And so my right aileron would have to be pointed this way, and my left aileron would have to be pointed this way, and then this would be a right side push, and this would be a left side push. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it the default, and then I'll have to change my sticks. I'm going to have to invert my direction on my control sticks, which I can do on the Futaba, so that's no problem. So without inversion, what happens is if I control my right aileron, so I push my control stick to the right, my right aileron is going to come down. My left aileron is going to go up. And this is going to be the opposite direction that I want. It's going to cause my wings to tip and roll in the left direction. So I'm going to have to do an inversion on my Futaba so that it looks like this. A right stick causes a push to happen here, a pull to happen here. This comes down, this goes up, and I get a rotation in the direction that I push the stick. So that's how I'm going to mount them. This is the neutral position for both of them. Similarly, I have the rudder control here, but this is set up properly. Or if I go rudder positive, which is in this direction, I expect my rudder to move in that direction, and the airplane's gonna get pushed this way. And that is what's working now. So a right push is going to rotate my airplane right. Left push on my control stick is going to push my airplane left. It's going to pull the rudder, which is going to push the tail and pull the nose. Right, this is the servo for the aileron. So the aileron is going to be mounted this is going to be mounted on the side of the tail here. The aileron control horn is going to be behind it, so I need it to push this direction when I want to go up. That's a positive. And so it's going the opposite direction that I want it. Again, rotating it, not going to matter. Go like this, then it's going to be pulling that way. So I'm going to have to do the same inversion of my control for both my elevator and my ailerons, but my rudder is correct. So these are things that I'm just going to have to note. Nothing I can do about it on these electronics. It's something I'll have to do on my Futaba when I set up the model. Okay, so that's it for this episode. I did a lot of random things here to set up the electronics, get everything set up. I think I have very little left I need to do. I'm really thinking about, I just need to do something with these cabling and then glue everything together. I'll put on the decals as a last thing, but everything should be in place. So I'm really excited. Maybe one more episode and then we can fly. Thanks for watching.